Hello and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. The last time, remember, we started up case number 1. Or, not case number 1, case number 4. It's been a while. Here. So, we're back to normal, I believe. So now we are going to enter the first part of the trial. Case number 4. Like so. Here's the fact that it's humid around here. November 2nd, 8:56 a.m. Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. There's an old familiar feeling. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension here. There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose? Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my! I do apologize! However, you are certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from over. What do you mean? I am not privy to the details, however. I understand that no jury has been selected. A trial without jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago. Close court. Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Holmes! Have you made note of my hair? Naruhodo! An outright victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ha! What to one man's a little hair problem is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Oh yeah, I bet. One hell of a shit, wasn't it? Oh dear, all over you. I'm afraid you have yourself to blame, Mr. Stokes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I am delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And I see London's celebrated great detective. This is activist. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. Your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Solmes! After all, behind this lawyer there is a very great lawyer. My very what are you trying to say? I only wish to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Gina! What's that on her arm? It's a warning band, I suppose. Father! Shouldn't you be at the symposium? It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see how the country's up-and-coming student in action. Me, sir? I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Huh? Yeah, Gina? Why'd you have to carry to this house? Why'd you take him? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him. What killed the boss? I'm sorry, Gina. But I just don't believe that. Whoever it was him, who was it? I don't know that yet. I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. That's the whole point here. And if it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. Eh? At least that may be some solace to the deceased. Please, Ada. Get whoever did this. For the boss. Gina. I feel like this useless, but there's nothing I could do. So you gotta find who had done this and make the wretch pay. Counsel for defense. Defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please. Alright then, here we go. It's time, Naruhodo. Blood Van Seeks. Once who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a fool. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune. That pain. On course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on these dark events. And whatever truth's revealed, we're going to have a look. We're going to have to look it straight in the eye. Here we go. Part 1 of many parts in this trial. 9:20 a.m. The courtroom. In the name of the Majesty, the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct a fair and just trial of the defendant, Baruch von Zieks. Counsels for defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? Defense ready, my lord. Prosecution. Should have seen you in court again for so long. I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the executioner's bench. So-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today we must uncover the truth behind this scourge. In other words, this trial's going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson. The truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions throughout the judiciary. Accordingly, they ought to be conducted as a closed trial with no members of the public present. By Her Majesty's direct orders. How would that work, my lord? The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the juror's bench shall remain vacant today.
If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord?
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial. Members of the judiciary.
Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already.
There's, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsels for prosecution and defense are both aliens of Great Britain.
I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes.
And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I am quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to it. Cosmo? Very well. Let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Osselgate, your opening statement, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on November 1st, as just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building on flats on Fresno Street, on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property.
Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known very well indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago.
The professor case.
How sure are you about the time of the incident?
Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It is believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly.
How has the range been determined?
There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. Gunpowder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range.
I see. Yes, thank you for the detailed explanation, Coach.
And we'll get the autopsy report, stating that the death was instant, resulting from a bullet
shot at close range. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim. And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm?
No, my lord, not conclusively.
Bravo, Cosimo. For not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven.
Furthermore, my lord, as I have explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. And there is a candelabra mounted on that wall. And the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile.
We noticed that too, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime's clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please.
As you wish, my lord.
So we get the floor plan. Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Corrections' private abode?
No, my lord. The room's rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone. But there's precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case, right? When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot.
So, the details of the case are not. So the details of the case are clear.
In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness.
Name, please, counsel.
Naturally, the accused himself.
Orvan Zeeks!
As prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth.
Very well, let the defendant take this witness stand.
So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Baroque von Zeeks, Old Bailey, prosecutor.
I presume, Lord Von Zeeks, that you heard Prosecutor Sogi's opening pieces.
I did.
It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this?
Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why were you there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question? And what exactly took place? I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth.
I must say, Lord Von, I never imagined this day would come.
I did. That's like Ace Attorney how many years? It was bound to happen.
Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come, but since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony, then, witness.
The facts of the incident. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first encountered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot, spun around, and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. Oh yeah, definitely press everything. That testimony was the whole truth. It was. So, you heard a shot being fired and a room with no living occupant. And moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, prosecutor Masuk. Would seem appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word. It's laughable. What's kind of cosmic? He's not behaving like himself at all. Very well then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination. Hey! You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for? I am not at liberty to say. Sorry? I'd identify a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand then that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene? I was privy to his movements in advance. How? I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense. As does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Vanity? I was aware of the possible consequence. So in summary, you were investigating the victim. And yet, you refused to tell the court why. British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Why did I ever think I could defend this man? Had you ever been to the address before? No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigation into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything. But at 5 p.m. the sun would only just have gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside. The room was windy, but it was bolted shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure?
entered the room and the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain.
Look, Naruhodo. There's a small desk in the room just here.
Yes, I remember. There was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph. Then I entered the room. I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate. And what'd you find? I never actually reached the desk. So who fired the gun? I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room. But you say it was very dark in there? Yes, that is right. All I can tell you is I didn't Sentinel's presence.
Ah! Then could it be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room?
No, that's us. That's out of the question. Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the compound.
This is going from bad to worse.
And you say that is the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor. Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part. Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the farm that you somewhat hastily took in your hand. In point of fact, I believe it did not. That or the revolver I picked up was cold. And there was no smell of spent powder.
But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired?
Vice, I would like to oblige you with an answer. I am afraid I can't. I too would dearly like to know that. A man, you said. One of the witnesses, I presume. That is right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street. Who are these merchants? A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the border window on the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened.
Yes, Gina's told us about that yesterday, didn't she?
They burst through the room with some force, would seem. They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process.
But you're supposed to be the Reaper.
The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. A policeman patrolling Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction.
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear?
I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there up to that point, and then suddenly there was.
Did you perhaps
perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand. At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more. I see. After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Those curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere. I have no idea. Surely the court has heard enough? Huh? My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Baroque van Zieks, is lying on multiple fronts. What's that supposed to mean? Good gracious, counsel. Defendant's lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That is correct. Yeah, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabra. How does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle. The problem comes from when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length. Yes, I can see only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet's long. We can reasonably expect someone to have it lit all three candles together. Which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others. That must be because that particular candle was extinguished while the others were still burning. Oh! That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other two candles would still been burning. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabra. And the accused's claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now to the next lie. There's more? The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That is the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right, we saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar. And there's a common thread linking all of the documents on that board. Indeed, what is that common thread, Coach? They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Baroque van Zieks. All of them?
All of those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted.
Good Lord!
Interesting. None of those defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations. The Reaper's hideout? And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout? No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards.
Backwards? Explain, Counsel.
Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine. By the Reaper's hand! What? Ah!
Order! Order! Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Their Excellencies is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asogi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts. What I have done is state the truth as I know it. Cosmo has done a brilliant job, sir. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case and his formula. Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental establishing facts surrounding the Reaper's existence.
Thank you, my lord. And we get the notice board. And now the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room.
Very well. Lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand.
Certainly, my lord.
And here they are. Oh, damn, here they are.
So, witnesses, state your names and occupation for the court.
Dave, we don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us.
We're just free and easy. Say what we like to live where we want to live.
I give them off vacant stairs, walk down, Fresno, spit a few words into a verse form. 400 pounds? Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street? Yep, everyone calls me gossip. I sell Jones Hill tidbits or pass it by, you know.
Jaunty little tidbits.
Gun accident smash for you, sir. Brought up your Dino with these. 6 pence plus? Not paying this.
Wait! You're actually trying to sell to me now?
Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested.
Trying to.
Give him money and see what it is.
Pay the man council. Damn, y'all! Alright. 6 pence it is. You're on regret, shot. Now got your listeners on. Just between us, young couple on Slate Street just had twins. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Got it?
No, that's not it. Course, I mean. Monster's bread. But that bit's up to you and your mom, of course. Got more, you know. Oh, no juicy one. 6 pence piece it is. You're curious. I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely that unusual bruise, whatever it is, that's poking out from under your collar. What about the next witness? What name do you go by and what do you sell?
Me. I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Fellini. I sell these lovely reformers to all the local school kids. 6 pence a pop? What do you say?
Alright, baby hood. You weren't exaggerating with little. Did you actually sell?
Oh yeah. Second year's kicking up on my Venus firecrackers.
Whatever you say, baby hood. Can I get a click here? Thank you. That poor bastard over there.
Especially when I tell them if they get 100, they can blow the school.
That's the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What do you say then, eh? What about with 6 pence for pop?
Wait, what? You want me to buy one?
Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you can blow up the whole courtroom.
Domino rally. Try it.
Give her the money and see if she's right.
Pay the woman council.
Alright!
Why one?
Lovely stuff, not then. This is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus Special. Only 600 pence.
What? Okay, baby hood. Not today. 600!
It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there?
There can't be nothing little about the punishment I blow the old Bailey either.
Look at the Venus firecracker. It consists of 100 smaller fireworks at 6 pence each. What sort of a bang could it make? And the last witness, what name do you go by and what do you sell? I'm saying, thinker, me, think all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am, therefore I think, I think. You know what? As long as you're not a crazy, misguided master computer by Harley
Ella Nelson, and had his voice, you're okay.
Because I stand there on the street watching the world go by about me. They call me the Observator. Yeah, oh, man, everyone calls you Sandwich, and you know it.
Sadly, you don't actually sell anything.
Problem shots, problem have is to say, I give advice or two and think what he means.
This poor man. Look at this dude. This poor man right here.
What? I don't actually sell anything, you know. Come to think of it,
Am I reading that right? Hot actual hero? Pity. Now my purchases today, please.
well, I mean, we actually have quite a casualty.
They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene.
I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witness the crime.
Well, I'll be back. Yes, between us.
Phoenix de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw.
But I think it's all what we see is light, shadow, playing fire. Is any of it real?
Waxing poetic, my lad. Waxing poetic.
Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. And you will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident. Well, you know, tell you what I saw.
I'll try like this.
We saw the whole thing from start to finish with it. Everything. From the moment they went in the building.
It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
It seems to me that quick talk is quick to walk, and gossip couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. I ran into the room, and they were Reaper, gun in hand, standing over their body.
I was scared out to death, man, so I ran upon the couple.
If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Baroque Von Zeeks.
Oh, St. Peter's all that right playing the pipe. Now what he looks like. But just between us, folks heard a story like this. Made myself attached to some already.
But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. All of those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied.
Goes hell. This small, damn, dirty, and expensive.
The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased.
How do we know the leaseholder's name, then? It's Gilbert.
The testimony in the court has
just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
No! Thank you for your kind word.
Counsel for defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witness.
Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this, without the jury and the judge, the only person whose opinion is valid, I have to break down this testimony. Somehow.
And before we do that, let's do the following. Let's just examine what we have already. Namely, the Venus firecracker. I can't find anything out of place. Or would we?
Have you an idea, Naruhodo? You're staying at the end of the string of fireworks.
Sorry, it's just that the Venus special? I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like.
Shall we find out?
What? But she said it could blow up the courtroom. Huh. Alright, that was a fairly sizable bang.
My ears are still ringing, Naruhodo. Sounded almost exactly like...
A gunshot. Okay. Now, let's look into this, shall we? When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and defendant Lord Van Zeeks?
I suppose so, like what don't know names and fine minded. I'll tell you one thing, it was no reaper that win, lads. That's for sure and certain.
Just behind Inspector Gregson. Did they arrive at the same time as each other?
No, not at all. First found us a gunshot for 15 minutes before we heard that gunshot.
The victim arrived 15 minutes before. Are you sure about that?
Am I sure?
Am I sure?
Does it seem likely that I've forgotten a feather with bright red hair like that, does it?
Yeah, his eyes pretty red wordy, better than my favorite fireworks even.
Like that fiery red mops to deal got the burns on the inside of my eyelids, it is.
Well, wait a minute. You're saying that the man was a redhead?
What, you listen, John? I was with it. And a big drunk with him as well.
But Inspector Gregson has this. Not by any stretch of imagination.
Seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party.
Now, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct.
What? Just have a look at the photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, alright.
And a red hairpiece.
Ah!
Of course, we saw one of the former investigators scene, didn't we?
I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece.
So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that?
The collar does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel. And there you go. His body appears to be tightly curled up, and there's a red hairpiece on his head. And he's not at all Christian. And what became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was carrying? Supposedly.
I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene. So it just disappeared. What? You expect us to be watching the building every second, do you?
We definitely saw him in the dark going in the question about that.
So then you were the first person to arrive on the scene, is that right?
There I was, kicking the door like a professional, and yelled out, "What's going on there?"
Marvin exclaimed all he heard was a man scream.
And was it dark inside the room?
Nah, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall.
Really?
And there was a fella collapsed on the floor. Just between us. It's the first thing I noticed when I got inside.
Ah, I see. Even though Lord Von Six claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall.
Next thing I know, there was something standing right on my body.
The accused, Lord Von Six.
That's right. Pale-faced raper himself. I was being something I won't deny, but I'm no little bit of a coward. I stood my ground, gave that ripper a cool hard stare. Shit.
Sir?
Do you have something to add, Sandwich?
There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head, I am. Just two slices with no middle. So I don't know what you could want with me.
I think that maybe you just remembered something. Having our Mr. Gossip lay a statement on
What I think is we're all nothings really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers.
it. That's enough like you, Sandwich. You keep your trap shut now. Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich.
Yeah, well, when he started to refund, he fell clean over on his backside.
That's it.
Oh, you rotten beggar! I told you to keep that a secret! He screamed and he did. He screamed and scrambled off on the floor. That's what I want to say.
Mr. Gossip, is that true?
That slippery, that I played my hand in a vivid pool of blood tonight.
Yeah. What? A pool of blood?
Well, listen here. Even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving. That Reaper cold hard sight. And don't you forget.
Let's just go back. Did you just say you got blood on your hat? Oh, did I? That's the best fucking time doing it. Well, I was scared, so I slipped over. We can keep it just between us, can't we? No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony. Oh, it's almost. The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details of I'm going to do the following. Go to the whiteboard. The notice board.
There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there?
This paper from 10 years ago, Browning of Age. And out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement that Mr. Slums had picked up.
And do you remember? There was a red hair piece at the scene too.
Newspaper breaks in the export of the Red-Headed League. The hell does look like a mark?
What was this? That ought to look.
Oh yeah, smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks just like a handprint.
In the color. That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear, how disturbing.
A freestanding noteboard, completely covered in notes and articles relating to the victims of the Reaper. There's a bloody handprint on the backside. That's all we need to know.
I'm afraid the judge will give a ruling of guilty, not a hold on.
Truth is, though, their combined testimony is fairly damning.
Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any obvious problems with their statements, do there?
Still, Lord Von Zieks really is innocent, and I'm almost certain that we'll find something in there that doesn't quite add up.
You don't think that one of these three could be the true culprit, do you?
I don't know. But what I do know is that there's more to this case that has yet to be brought to light. So we go from 1 to 4 this time. So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what did you expect me to do, eh? Doesn't really matter. The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations.
What exactly is the defense asserting? If you listen, you'll find out. Prosecutor Asogi. Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint in blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. Ah, yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color blood. Oh, you did wrong. Just look at our hand. Oh, know it anywhere. Hero. The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant. Now that the board had fallen over onto the floor, in that case, it's quite possible for the witness handprint to have ended up there. Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim, in an upright position. Even if it had been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time, a considerable distance from the body. A fair when I came across the body. The wall was basically right next to the corpse, not the other side of the room. In other words, the defense assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. There's a very definitive contradiction here, for which there must be a reason. I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, Counsel, regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness account and the handprint found at the scene. I have, my lord. This discrepancy between the witness account and the location of the handprint is explained by the board moving. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down. Good gracious, so it is. If the witness had put his hand against the board, the fingers should be pointing upwards. What does that tell us? It tells one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What? You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting. Then who? Tell the court who? I don't know that yet. But the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point. And that would be the position of the notice board at the time of the incident. So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated? here. This is the only possible location.
Immediately adjacent to the doorway.
If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and he couldn't see the body.
Oink!
If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view. And the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker. But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him.
That's true. Or in his precise words.
Just as I peeked, the fire alarm to examine. The door flew open and I heard a man's scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
All I know about calling it scream, but you won't talk about making no mistake. Cause it was me that kicked the door open.
He admitted it. If you look again at the floor plan, consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force. The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible.
Good gracious.
My client has told nothing but the truth. He simply described what he saw.
Hold up! Counsel, how has this not come to light before now?
After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleague saw when investigating the room.
Witness, what if you say it for yourself? What? My lord!
You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board.
The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Hey, stop looking over your glasses at me! I'll get the message!
Witness testimony. The mystery of the moving board.
I don't know anything about that damn notice board. I just want my hand on it, that's all.
And then look at me. I'm the guy that came back. I was doing business with some secretaries at the time.
I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander. Me, did you just look at the crossroads of life? There's a sign at the crossroads of life. What was that report bit? You gotta face the screams, boo. I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. So none of you can elaborate further.
Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see, we can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened.
That's right, yeah. It don't pay to expect too much.
It's man's in its quest for knowledge that's destroying the world, and that's what I think.
Or is it greed? Do you really
any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was removed by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could have possibly have committed the crime is Barrack 16. None of this wrangling over the ball changes that simple fact. Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances? Most certainly, my lord. Very well. Then you may proceed, counsel.
When you say you were doing business with him, meaning you were selling them fireworks?
Yeah, what else has the pirate school just around the corner? See? Those cheeky little sunsos have a plan to blow their school to Kunio-kun. So I've been telling them, letting teachers know they're
Oh, you have.
yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids were playing dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again. They passed the ammunition. I mean, the kids all came back to buy more. Everyone happy, see?
What a racket.
Of course. And sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's video life, some explosives.
Venus is a guyful goddess indeed.
Man, kind of bad-faced eyes, kind of make me good. And I'm ever so good at it.
Sir?
Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich?
Peanut butter jelly. If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
No. Did Miss Venus' statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts. Philosophical.
I think old man, he's saying philosophical. Yeah, he's saying philosophical instead of philosophical.
Let's say there was a great lion. And then that great lion said, without batting an eye. Telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, and I'm ever so good at it. But those words better be a lie to the truth. In which case, she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you?
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. And I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
You have a must start a disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent facial lady.
Yeah, that's what modern women sometimes. So Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Savage?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Can you elaborate, please, sir?
Old blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind too. That's right. Yeah, right and I over there. Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all?
That look on her face says, yep, I did.
What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I?
Yes, you mentioned it.
Well, that revelation rocketed the whole courtroom, didn't it?
Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch?
So you did indeed visit the crime scene, did you, young lady? Good grief.
Well, now that you come to mention it, I suppose perhaps I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room here.
Either you clearly remember it or you don't.
I should consider a fitting punishment for this perjurious act. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh, yes, my lord, of course. Maybe I did sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek in the room where it all happened.
You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss
Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I take everything I say with a big pinch of salt.
Alright. But you did, in fact, go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you?
Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just admit it. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know.
Did you touch anything at the scene?
Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just admit it. I had to think. I had to look to see if there was anything I could say. So I did give the place a once over, but not to write over.
Right.
Now I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you?
Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of these changes on it.
The truth, please.
Well, alright then, I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flipping thing. Sorry, flipped the blasted thing.
You're telling us that you did move that board?
I think that did slip out, didn't it?
You tough bumphole! I don't believe it. That guy doesn't think. Of course, she's a dumb blonde. So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps, to sell?
Oh, please, I should be so lucky in my imagination.
The truth? Now!
I might have found myself watching nose for this place. Get a junk like this, paperwork, don't you? Yeah. So it was you, was it? You're the one who took it!
Gina? Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
Watch. That watch there. That was a present to Inspector Jackson from the yard for a big case he sold 10 years ago. The professor case look out. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for a grub to come at the pub.
I see.
I swapped it off from once, and blimey was he upset. Gave me a rifle. Sat here and missed a day in the last 10 years polishing it and winding it. Meant the work to him that watched it.
Possibly not the best thing to go diving for then.
It's not all that, though. Took it to Jarvis that night to ask how much it was worth. Heard the other say wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it, so I was working. Not by a worthless garden. I knew I should have left it!
You girl? That watch must be submitted as evidence at once.
Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance. I'll swap it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again.
That's enough. Hand the watch over to the bed forthwith.
Now, old children, watch your manners.
Good Lord. The glass appears to be broken. More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot.
Doesn't take any more either. Which is why Travis didn't want it. All right, sir.
Yes, indeed. It appears as slow at the hour of 5. Exactly when the gunshot was fired. Which supplies the prosecution's claim, of course. So we get Gregson's pocket watch, in which he wound it without fail every single day, is no longer ticking, and the glass over the face is cracked. But it would appear that the mystery of the moving nose boat has been solved. But before we do that, let's look at that pocket watch. Look at that hole right there. The glass of the face really is badly cracked.
Sure, when you expect to clearly look after it so carefully.
I imagine Mr. Sun's going to be here.
Yes, I should think so.
So we got definitely things useful man to have around.
But kindly remember that he's a great detective, not a not an odd job man.
So, he is an odd job man. There's a tiny little stub sticking out from this small hole here.
I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on it for setting the time.
In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of it, probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it?
Yes, of course.
Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene, maybe. And of course, we checked the top, we checked the middle, and now the bottom. Oh, there's a tiny little keyhole here. See?
Oh yes, that's probably for the winder. Used to wind up the mechanism.
It's a little unusual, don't you think?
Yes, you need just the right key to wind it, I imagine.
Why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit this in this one.
It would be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check over carefully what we found over it.
Well, let's check the head of this figurine here.
The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear.
I'm not convinced that the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if somebody has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too? For fun? You know, just for fun. Ah! What's that?
It appears to be some sort of key.
But it's tiny though. Could be a key to a forward door, not of that size. Giving it a twist causes a key-like shaft to pop out from the base. Susano! I think perhaps this key could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch.
Yes, it could be.
Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose. I knew it. Perfect fit.
And look. The Inspector watches start going again.
Ah, so it has obviously not just been wound up. That's all. What is it, Susano?
Well, Well, the watch isn't actually broken after all. I have a feeling it could have profound implications.
She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I better start thinking. Perhaps I better start thinking deeply too. So therefore, having wound it up, it started ticking again. And as predicted, it had very little bang on the case.
And now then, continue with the cross-examination, please, Count.
Does it now, sir? I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case. At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. A key? And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered that it, in fact, still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. What?
Order for counsel! Was stopped almost exactly 5 o'clock.
Yeah, which is what we heard at gunshot.
Hey, stop now!
The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It's merely coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock. Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. So that's obviously when this crime was committed. No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago.
The boss was to warn you that very evening about there when he was waiting for a crowd to come with the pump. So he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years polishing it and water. Make the water him that motion.
The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well. Yes, that would be entirely reasonable. But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day.
Oh! Alright!
I expected!
In summary, the evening before, the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch.
You can't mean...
What would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead!
Order, counsel! That is a most extraordinary claim. Extraordinary isn't the word. It's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before. Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that?
On that subject, there is something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. Time of death is not noted.
That's right. Oi, mate, you forgetting that my legs waiting from under me when I kicked the door in.
What do you mean?
Like I said, I play my hand at dirty, great poor blood. Yes, so the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh. Tastes so fresh, don't it? But that blood could be explained in any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have... Does my learned friend think that fresh blood's available on every street corner?
Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
Problems currently being researched. President, you are correct. It's beyond law, but it is. So then, chicken's blood could have been used, for example.
Certainly a possibility that wasn't the inspector's blood at all.
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question. Is it though? What? Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realms of the possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all.
Oh, please! What are you trying to say?
Oh, Lord, no, what went out? And it wasn't a loud bang that came from that there room. Now that you listen to me. Street size is our livelihood. The fuck you get a whip from, dude? I'm down your ear, sir. But all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise. Hey! Explain yourself then, Jones. A noise that sounded like a gunshot could have been made with a firecracker. Something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot. Oh, good gracious, the very fireworks are sold by the witness?
Now, hold on a minute. Are you saying that I did it? I'm pretty enough firecrackers only make a damn pop anyway. See?
Not 100 of them together. The Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. You're trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks off at the scene. I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day.
and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers on Fresno Street to hear. But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Barak von Zeeks.
One would imagine my firecracker still pop. See? That's why people like him.
I fear for your fingers, young lady. Don't we all? Recently, during my time here in Britain, I learned of a very useful invention. Something called a
Time bomb.
Good heavens, a bomb? Yes, a device that allows you to blow whatever you like, whenever you like.
See Bomberman for more details.
Naruhodo, I'm worried that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident.
It's not the Geneva Convention, Susato. No. Wait. It's the whenever you like part that's not important. Timed device. Yes, exactly. A timed device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left. No extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence. What proof do you have to suggest in any way that a time device was employed to create a gunshot sound? The candelabra. As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in this candelabra have been blown off. Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim. That's not true. I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible. Why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle. Well, goodness, yes. But is it not the case that there are also scorching on the victim around the bullet entry wound? That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun. Which means that the scorching on the candle can't possibly be the result of a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks. Okay, that be it! The fact that there's such visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and firecrackers were joined together. The culprit somehow attached the fireworks at a point partway down the candle after the killer had left the scene. The candle slowly burned down along with the other two until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firecrackers, generating a loud and that is how these three witnesses came to believe they heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock. Well, what a plot. And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we had left to believe previous day even. Now, just hold your horses. Over, yeah, saw the victim going in the building, remember?
I couldn't forget that flame-colored head even if I wanted to.
The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this.
Oh?
Obviously, anybody can wear a wig. So the person that these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely wearing the red hair piece.
Someone else? Do you mean to say...
It was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer.
Oh, very impressive. Not a whole lot of weirdo shit. Cosmo?
I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. But after all, it wasn't I the one who told you. That you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer. I also noticed the lack of time of death in this report. Stock issue. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired.
Order! Order! Prosecutor Soki! What on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today. So we can allow even the slightest doubt to be included. The defense assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture. But while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Well, certainly, I would agree.
And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
Even within...
However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing, you, my learned friend.
I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating.
Yes, I agree. Surely.
Kisana.
My lord, the defense believes it can be explained to the court. The case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death.
Very well, Count. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggested of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident?
This. I believe this red hair piece points to the answer. We might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation.
Surely not. Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in the crowd. Except that is in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League.
The red-headed League.
So, we'd already worked it out.
What on earth is this all about? Is there such an ordinary league of gentlemen? Is
there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen? Oh God, that joke. I've seen that movie. It's kind of weird. Kudos, Capcom. Kudos. The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception. A deception of what nature comes from. They've been targeting red-headed men all across London, tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord, the defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once. The 2 redheads? Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece. So it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. It's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events. I concur that we cannot consciously leave this new avenue unexplored.
Well done, Naruto.
Well, it's not a possible line of inquiry for us, at least. The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these 2 red-headed league conspirators before me, Prosecutor Asugi. At once, my lord. Very good. We will have a 30-minute recess. Court's adjourned. Very nice. Very nice. So with that, I'm actually going to stop here. Make a save. And in the next part, we're going to deal with part 2 of this trial. So, stay tuned. More of The Great Ace Attorney 2, The Resolve, right after this.